So, for the Nordics, the universe was created in the following way. In the beginning was the burning fire of Muspelheim and the extreme cold of Nilheim, and in the middle of both was the void known as Ginnungagap. When both substances were found in the void, the ether was created. The ether is the primal substance which gave life to Ymir, the first giant, and from which the Jotun will be formed. The Jotun are the race of the giants with magical powers. So, a magical cosmic cow called Adjungla also appeared, which took care of Ymir for a while, but then she will lick ice and from this will become Buri, the first god that isn't a Jotun, and because of a spontaneous pregnancy had Bor. Bor is the father of the gods known as Aesir, of which the first will be Odin, Vili, and then Ve. Odin, Vili, and Ve kill Ymir, and from his body they will create the world. From Ymir's blood some worms were formed. The gods will experiment with them, giving them intelligence. Some turn very well like elves, which are beautiful, tall, intelligent, and almost immortal. Others, well, end badly like trolls or dark elves. Although life already exists in Midgard Dawns, so Odin cut an ash tree, and from it came Ask and Embla, which will be like Adan and Eva but Nordic. The Vikings, unlike other beliefs, did not believe in the force of good and evil. They believed in the force of chaos and order, as for example the elves, of light and darkness, the giants of fire and ice, or even the Aesir gods, Odin, Frigg, Balder, Thor, Tyr, Bragi, and Idun, against the Vanir gods, Njord, Skadi, Frey, and Freya. Now, Idun had the special golden apples that made the gods immortal because they get old and could die. And Freya was the one who commanded the Valkyries. They were in charge of curing and taking the heroes fallen in battle to Valhalla, and in Valhalla they will have an eternal bank. All of this contrasts with his image of the end of the world, known as Ragnarok, where the force of chaos will defeat those of order. The force of chaos will be led by Loki and his sons, who, after assassinating Baldur, will send Fenrir to kill Odin, Jormungandr to assassinate Thor, and the children of Fenrir to eat the sun and the moon, which also were gods, and the other forces of chaos will destroy and collapse Yggdrasil. Fun fact: when there was an eclipse, it was thought that the sun had almost been caught by one of the wolves. Retaking, although in Ragnarok the great majority of gods and living beings were killed, some sources claim that a few gods, including Freya, survived and would repopulate the world, thus generating an eternal cycle. And this cycle, the symbol of the eternal cycle, known as Uroboros, is represented with Jormungandr beating his own tail. Nordic mythology divides the different worlds of its universe into 9, represented in the branches of a tree called Yggdrasil. These kingdoms are Asgard, realm of the gods Aesir; Helheim, kingdom of death controlled by Hela, daughter of Loki; Midgard, kingdom of humans created from the corpse of Ymir. The gods could reach it through the Bifrost, a magical rainbow bridge that connects Asgard with Midgard, and was guarded by Heimdall. Jotunheim, kingdom of the ice giants; Vanaheim, kingdom of the Vanir, gods of nature; Alfheim, kingdom of elves of light, ruled by Frey, while the dark elves were in Svartalheim. Niflheim, realm of the darkness and mist; Helheim was below and towards parts of it; and finally Muspelheim, kingdom of the fire giants, and in this was the cosmic void, and Surd was the king. Also, powerful animals habit the tree, such as the dragon Nidhogg that ate the roots of the tree to destroy it and eat the eagle from the top of the tree. To take care of the tree were the Norns, who watered the roots with the water from the Urd well.
From around 8800 to the 11th century, a vast number of Scandinavians left their homelands to seek their fortunes elsewhere. These seafaring warriors, known collectively as Vikings or Norsemen, began by raiding coastal sites, especially undefended monasteries in the British Isles. Over the next 3 centuries, they will leave their mark as pirates, raiders, traders, and settlers on much of Britain and European continent, as well as parts of modern-day Russia, Iceland, Greenland, and Newfoundland. Contrary to some popular conception of the Vikings, they were not a race linked by ties of common ancestry or patriotism, and could not be defined by any particular sense of Vikingness. Most of the Vikings whose activities are best known came from the areas known as Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, though there are mentions in historical records of Finnish, Estonian, and Sami Vikings as well. Their common ground and what made them different from the European people they confronted was that they came from a foreign land. They were not civilized in the local understanding of the word, and most importantly, they were not Christian. The exact reasons for Vikings venturing out from their homeland are uncertain. Some have suggested it was to the overpopulation of their homeland, but the earliest Vikings were looking for riches, not land. In the 8th century AD, Europe was growing richer, fueling the growth of trading centers such as Dorestad and Kjøntovik on the continent and Hawick, now Southampton, London, Ipswich, and York in England. Scandinavian forts were highly prized in the new trading markets from their trade with Europeans. Scandinavians learned about new sailing technology as well as about the growing wealth and accompanying inner conflicts between European kingdoms. The Viking predecessors, pirates who preyed on merchant ships in the Baltic Sea, would use knowledge to expand their fortune seeking activities into the North Sea and beyond.